There's just so much glare. I can't. So DC rebooted all their titles and put out 52 new #1s. In this video series, I'm going over all 52. DC divided them into 7 categories, and the second category is Superman.
Action Comics.
I'm assuming that the viewer of this video doesn't know anything about comic books and has chosen me to be the source of all of their only comic book knowledge, and they're not going to any other sources. That's why I'm trying to be so comprehensive. Action Comics is gonna show you the early days of Superman's career, as of Clark Kent, when him being Superman for the first time. See, there was a planet called Krypton. I mean, surely everybody knows. Alright, there was a planet called Krypton, and it was going to blow up, and then they put a baby in a spaceship, and it came to Earth, and he has superpowers. And his powers are, he can fly, and he has super strength, and he has laser vision. So he's fire lasers.
Superman.
You might be asking, why are there 2 Superman books? There's Action Comics and there's Superman. What's the difference? Action Comics is the origin of Superman, Superman's early days, and Superman, that's your more status quo. He's already Superman, and these are his adventures. I mean, Action Comics is going to be better than this book, okay? I'm just going to tell you that. But if you don't want to be saddled with the burden of, oh, he's still becoming Superman, why can't I just read a simple story of just Superman? Go get Superman #1. You have this option available to you. Superman is pretty pissed off in this book because the Daily Planet gets demolished and rebranded as the Planet Global Network because of new media. Lois Lane has some new D-bag boyfriend, and then he has to fight a fire monster. Isn't the point of this supposed to be escapism? Like, I want to get away from my annoying life, so I'm like, hey, let's read Superman. Oh, he hates his job, and the girl that he likes is dating a piece of shit, and he has to do things that annoy him. This is just my life. Why am I reading this? I guess maybe because, if I'm experiencing feelings of dissatisfaction and sadness and just anger, at least no one made me fight a fire monster. Maybe that's the concept. Like, you don't have it as bad as Superman. I don't know if that's ideal for a comic book for children. I guess comic books aren't really for children as much as they are for angry adults. So what book can I read that will allow me to escape into a fun fantasy? Not Superman.
Superboy.
Okay, so when you hear Superboy, don't get confused, because, in the day, Superboy was just the young Superman. Like when Clark Kent was in Smallville, he was Superboy, which is so fucking stupid. But now Superboy is a different character altogether. He's a clone of Superman's DNA mixed with a human DNA. And that human is Lex Luthor. I don't know if they changed it for the new one. I think this is meant to appeal to the sensibilities of the modern teen. You know, it's hard to identify with Superman sometimes because he's an adult dealing with adult issues. But if you're a modern teen, you go for Superboy because you know how when you're like a teenager and you're like a clone and like scientists raise you in a virtual reality world? Like, you remember that? And you don't have parents, and you never went to school because everything that's in your head was just programmed in while you were growing from fetus to full-grown teenager in like a few years while you were in like a containment jar, like suspended animation. And like, you know, people are like, ugh, like they don't get it. It's like because you're like just the only one of your kind in the entire universe. You know?
Supergirl.
This book was purchased thanks to a generous donation from Dennis Bernhard. They were actually sold out of Supergirls in every comic book store in all of Los Angeles, so I had to drive to Earth 2 to get this, and not Earth 2, the alternate universe, Earth 2, the store in Sherman Oaks. And I didn't put this in with a bag and board. They sold it to me like this because, you know, they were selling out, and this is a first printing. But is this going to be worth a lot of money one day? No, never. It will never be worth anything. But I got to read it, and is it an interesting new origin that they came up with for Supergirl? I don't know, because they never get to it. This entire issue is just one long action scene. But you know what? They're selling out. People love Supergirl. And why? Because she's a sexually attractive girl. But, like, are you guys masturbating to Supergirl? Doesn't a masturbation fantasy have to include a modicum of reality? You think Supergirl's gonna fuck you? Set your sights a little lower. Huntress, Black Canary, Catwoman, someone with low self-esteem, someone who maybe is like dresses like they need that attention, or is coming from a place of trauma, or just has such a poor image of themselves. They might throw you a fuck, but Supergirl is not gonna look at you. You know what would happen if you had sex with Supergirl? She wouldn't even notice. And that's it for my rundown of the DC New 52 Superman comics. Stay tuned for the next vid. I'll tell you even more stuff. And do the donations through the PayPal, because next time I might get a book where like something happens.